other honored guests, and of course, my brothers. I'm really happy today to just say a few words about my priest hero, Monsignor John Richter of the Diocese of New Ulm. I first met Monsignor when my net team was stationed in New Ulm at Cathedral Parish and Cathedral School, where he was then the pastor. And my first impression was just that Monsignor was a pretty kind-hearted and very loving priest. And within the first week, we actually got to celebrate his 50th year of ordination. And I was talking to him briefly about it, and he said, yeah, I've celebrated over 22,000 masses, and I've heard over 100,000 confessions. And immediately I was like, man, this guy's already an all-star. Like, right out, how can he not be your priest hero? But it's not his all-star statistics that really make Monsignor my priest hero. It's the fact that in everything that Monsignor Richter does, he is acting in the person of Christ. In confession, when you go with Monsignor, you're talking to Jesus. I remember the first time that I went to confession with him. It had been a while since my last confession, so it was kind of a heavier one, and I remember like, man, I kind of don't want to go to Monsignor because he's like a super awesome priest, and I don't want him to think that I'm a chump. But I went, and I was confessing my sins, and then I looked up, and Monsignor was just looking at me, and he was just smiling and just radiating this love and mercy. And he talked to me, and he just said, you know, the Lord forgives you, and don't worry, John, you are his beloved son, and he really cares about you a whole lot. So, and just radiates this mercy, and I was like, wow, this, like, it felt like I was talking to Jesus, and that was the first time I had experienced that in confession, and it was just incredible. And the same thing happens when he's celebrating Mass. When he's at the altar, he's so engaged with the Lord, with the people, and offering the sacrifice. And in the parish, Monsignor is always just a loving father, whether it's playing cards with old ladies, or talking to younger kids, or visiting families, or visiting the sick. Monsignor is always just like, it's like Jesus is there. In everything he does, he brings Jesus to the equation. Really, the only bad thing I have to say about Monsignor is that he's tried to kill me like 4 or 5 times. Anytime you have a meal with Monsignor, he will try to kill you by feeding you as much food as he can. And just when you think you're about to burst, he will continue to shove twice as much food down your throat, and you cannot say no to him. In reality, though, Monsignor just brings Christ to the people. He acts as the persons of Christ. He brings life, he brings love, he brings mercy, and he brings joy. And when I think about Monsignor Richter and his priesthood, it really makes me want to be a priest. Praise be Jesus Christ.